Hello and welcome to a day in 15 minutes UPSC Prelims Daily Current Affairs by Neo IAS. Today is 10th November 2019 and the topics for discussion are Kalapani Territory, Voyager 2 of NASA, Ain-i-Akbari, Antimicrobial Resistance, Kerala Fiber Optic Network Project, and finally Insulin. Alright, coming to the first topic of the day, which is Kalapani Territory. Now this is in news because the Nepal government has actually strongly objected to the inclusion of a territory called Kalapani under the Indian territory as per the newly released political map of India. Okay, so basically in the latest map of India, India has actually included Kalapani into the Pithoradgarh district of Uttarakhand. The Nepalese government says that the Kalapani is an integral part of their country and that talks are still on between New Delhi and Kathmandu over this unresolved area. Okay, now coming and talking about Kalapani. Now, Kalapani is located at an altitude of 3,600 meters on the Kailash Mansarovar route. It borders Uttarakhand in India and Sudrapanchim Pradesh in Nepal. Now, since the Indo-China War of 1962, Kalapani has actually been controlled by the India's Indo-Tibetan Border Police. Now, Nepal claims that the river located towards the west of the territory is the main Kali river and therefore it falls into its territory. But on the other side, India claims that the ridgeline towards the east of the Kalapani territory and hence it includes in the Indian Union. So this is where the main dispute actually happens. Now under the Treaty of Singauli signed between Nepal and British East India Company in 1816, the Kali river was located as Nepal's western boundary with India. Now understand it, this Singauli treaty however made no mention of a ridgeline and subsequent maps of the areas drawn by British surveyors showed the source of the Kali river at different places. Now because of that there was a discrepancy that has led to the boundary disputes basically between India and Nepal. Now each of these countries, India and Nepal, are producing maps that includes the territory on their own. So basically in Indian map Kalapani will become our territory and in the Nepalese map the Kalapani will become the Nepalese territory. Now the exact size of Kalapani territory also varies with different sources. Okay, so here you can see in the map that small region that has been circled here, that region is the exact location of Kalapani. Alright, now coming to the next topic of the day, which is Voyager 2 of NASA. Now this is in news because NASA's Voyager 2 has actually entered the interstellar medium or interstellar space. Now this is a region of space outside the bubble-shaped boundary produced by the wind streaming outwards from the sun. Now since Voyager 2 has entered into interstellar space, it makes Voyager 2 the second human made object to journey out of sun's influence following the first one, which was US NASA's Voyager 1, which actually got out in 2012. Alright, now this is an image, if you can see that big bubble-like region in the blue that you see, that elongated one, this is what you call the heliosphere. So our Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 has actually exited this region from the space. Okay. Now coming and talking about Voyager 2, now Voyager 2 was launched in August 20, 1977 along with Voyager 1. So both of them were launched together. Now their initial mission objective was to gather data on Jupiter and Saturn. Okay, now thereafter the mission is extended and the Voyager 1 made its way towards the edge of the solar system while Voyager 2 had to make an observation of Uranus and Neptune. Okay, so basically they were supposed to go together, exit the solar system together, but Voyager 1 was sent across, but Voyager 2 was made to do some extra studies. Now it's Voyager 2 that found evidence of rings around Neptune, therefore showing that all the four gas giants, that is Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune, all of them had rings. Now as the mission's planetary exploration phase had been successfully completed, NASA actually renamed the Voyager mission into Voyager Interstellar Mission. Now the one thing you have to keep in mind here is that Voyager spacecraft are the third and the fourth human spacecraft to fly beyond all the planets of our solar system, which means before them two other spacecraft also existed that had crossed the boundaries of our our solar system, and those are Pioneer 10 and Pioneer 11. However, the first human-made object, man-made object to actually leave the heliosphere or the area which is having an influence of the sun, that one was Voyager 1 and Voyager 2. So don't make that mistake. The first one to leave the solar system is actually Pioneer 10 and Pioneer 11. Okay. Now coming and talking about interstellar space. Now interstellar space is the part of that space that exists between stars. Now scientists define the beginning of interstellar space as the place where the sun's constant flow of material and magnetic field stops affecting its surroundings, and this place is what they call as heliopause. Now the heliosphere is basically a bubble around the sun created by the outward flow of the solar wind from the suns and the opposing inward flow of the interstellar wind. Okay. Now the next topic is Ain-i-Akbari. Now this is in news because Ain-i-Akbari, a 16th century document which deals with the administration of Mughal Emperor Akbar, was considered as an evidence for the birth of Rama by the Supreme Court in the Ayodhya verdict. Now Ain-i-Akbari mentions the time of birth of Lord Ram in the Tegra Yuga in the city of Ayodhya. Similarly, the Balakanda of Goswami Tulsidas not only refers to the birth of Lord Rama but also points out to a place where he will take human form. Okay, now this is clearly depicted in the word Tina ke Gra, that is in their house of Dasaratha and Kausalya. Now these are experts from an addendum written by one of the 5 judges of the Ayodhya bench. Now coming and talking about Ain-i-Akbari, this is a book which was written by Abul Fazl, of a court historian of Akbar, and he was written it in Persian language. Now Ain-i-Akbari is the 3rd volume of the Akbarnama, which contains information of Akbar's reign in the form of administrative reports. So this book is actually a collection of all the administrative reports, and thereby it is compiled. Now Ain-i-Akbari, you have to understand, is also further subdivided into 5 different volumes. Now coming to Tulsidas. Now Tulsidas was actually born in Uttar Pradesh during the reign of Akbar. He is considered as a prophet of Hinduism and he is regarded as an incarnation of Valmiki. Okay, now he is the author of Ramayana written in Sanskrit. Now he wrote the Ramacharita-manas, which is actually an epic devoted to Lord Rama, and this Avadi version of Ramayana is read and worshipped with great reverence in many Hindu homes in northern India. Coming to the next topic, which is antimicrobial resistance, is an important topic as far as both your prelims and mains are concerned. Now, this is a news because by a recent study, it says that doctors are also responsible for 10% or less of the global misuse of antibiotics. So, doctors also should be blamed for the misuse of antibiotics. Now, coming to the antimicrobial resistance. Antimicrobial resistance is the ability of an organism like a bacteria, virus, or some sort of parasite to stop an antimicrobial, which can be in the form of antibiotics, antiviral, and anti-malarial, to form or work against it. So basically, the microbes will become resistant to the drugs which is given to kill or work against it. Now, because of because of this, the standard treatments will become ineffective and infection will persist and may also spread to others. Now, antimicrobial resistance occurs naturally over time through genetic changes. However, the misuse and overuse of antimicrobials is accelerating this process of antimicrobial resistance. Coming to India's Red Line campaign. India's medicines with the Red Line campaign was first launched by the Union Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. It's aimed to curb irrational use of antibiotics and create awareness on the side effects of taking antibiotics without prescription. Under it, all prescription-only antibiotics must be marked with a vertical red line on the packet. So you might have seen this if you go to a drugstore. You will see many of the drugs that they have a vertical red line above it. So this is actually showing that you can only consume those drugs with the help of a prescription given by a doctor. Now, the red line antibiotic packets should be consumed on doctor's advice, and the patient need to complete the full course of prescription by the doctor. Coming to our next topic, which is called Avare. Now, the WHO has actually suggested adoption of Avare, which classifies antibiotics into 3 groups, which is access, watch, and reserve. With respect to access, which all antibiotics is to be used in the most common or serious infections. Watch considers which one should be available at all time in the healthcare system. And finally, reserve, those that must be used sparingly or preserved and used only as a last resort. Now, the aim of this thing is to combat the growing menace of antibiotic abuse and limit drugs those are, causing the increasing the risk of resistance. Now, coming to the next topic, which is Kerala Fiber Optic Network Project. Now, this is in news because Kerala has actually decided to provide free high-speed internet connections to the poor. Now, coming and talking about this project, the Fiber Optic Network project will be completed by December 2020. The project seeks to fulfill the government's aim of making internet access a citizen's right. The project has been named Kerala Fiber Optic Network Project, and those eligible for a free connection will be provided by internet at a very low cost. Now, understand the project aims to provide free high-speed internet to over 20 lakh below poverty line households. It aims to improve the information technology infrastructure at educational institutions, ports and airports. Now, the project will be implemented through Kerala State Electricity Board and Kerala IT Infrastructure Limited. Coming to the next topic, which is insulin. Now, this is in news because ahead of the World Diabetes Day on November 14, the World Health Organization is launching an initiative to expand access to affordable insulin. Now, the global report on diabetes actually show essential medicines and technologies, including insulin, are generally available to only 1 in 3 of the poorest countries. Now, according to the International Diabetes Federation Diabetes Atlas of the 7th edition, China has the largest number of patients, which is at 11.43 crores, followed by India at 7.29 crores in 2017. As per the National Family Health Survey 2015 to 16 is considered, 5.8% of women and 8% of men in India are having blood sugar levels above 140 milligrams per DL in the age group of 15 to 49 years old. Now, coming and talking about insulin, 2 Canadian scientists, that is Dr. Frederick Banting and Dr. Charles H. Best, had isolated insulin in 1921. Insulin is used by humans for the treatment of diabetes as it has been used since 1982, and insulin is basically a hormone that regulates blood sugar. Human insulin is produced in the laboratory by injecting proteins of insulin in E. coli bacteria. Now, we have various types of insulin. Now, the human insulin is available in 2 forms, that is a short-acting regular form and an intermediate-acting NPH form. Now, the NPH, which is neutral protein hegatron insulin, also known as isophene insulin, is a suspension, meaning that the insulin vial should always be, turned upside down to ensure that the solution is uniformly cloudy. Other than that, the pre-mixed insulin consists of a mix of regular and NPH insulin, and the pre-mixed insulin are available in a number of different ratios of mixing. Okay, so that's all for today. If you have any doubts or queries, you can write it in the comment section below. Thank you.
So please like, share and subscribe to our channel for more videos. Follow our website neoiasgap.com for the detailed content and monthly prelims digest. Also join our current affairs exclusive test series through the website. And finally, participate in the daily current affairs prelims infotainment quiz at our Telegram channel, that is Neo IAS Prelims, at 9:30 p.m.